ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਭੈ ਕਾਹੂ ਕੋ ਦੀਤ ਨਹਿ, ਨਹਿ ਭੈ ਮਾਨ ਧਿਆਨ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨ ਰੇ ਮਨਾ, ਗਿਆਨੀ ਤਾਹਿ ਬਖਾਨ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji's Bani of Salok Mahalla 9 in the 16th Salok, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah say, Pੈ kahu ko det nahi. Speaking about those that does not give out fear to somebody else, does not threaten somebody and then put fear inside of them. The word Pੈ translates to fear. Pੈ kahu ko det nahi. Det nahi means does not give anyone fear. Pੈ kahu ko det nahi, nahi pੈ manat aan. But also they don't take fear, meaning they haven't got fear of anything and anyone as well, that nobody is able to threaten them and then put fear inside of them. And then the Paatshah Ji say, Kahu Nanak sun re mana, listen O my mind, sun re mana, gyani tahi bakhan. Those are the ones that bakhan. Bakhan means ark. Ark means those that can say. Those are said to be true gyanis. Those which ones that don't feel that fear. Nobody can give them fear and they don't give out fear as well. What is a gyani then? Because we hear this word very often, and a gyani can sometimes be translated, we might see translated to the wise one. Gyani could be translated to a spiritual teacher. A lot of the times we refer to those that have accumulated a lot of knowledge to be a gyani. But when we look and we ask Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatshah Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, will you tell us who is a true gyani? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Paatshah say to us that, O gyani darghe parvan, they say truly that wise person is then accepted in the presence of God. Those that have contemplated come to realize that they are actually a soul, they're an Atma, they come to realize they're Atma. And over here when Paatshah Ji is saying that Guru Prasad kare bichar, that with the grace of the Guru, that they then contemplate. And somebody might tell us, you know what, fear is this. And we just take that to be true. But self-contemplation is going deep inside, realizing my Atma, and then from my own inner self, I actually get to experience and see what fear is. And that doesn't mean we have to go through the actual motions of what fear is, because remember our Jyot, our Atma is all-knowing. That Paatshah Ji tell us that it's Sat Chit Anand, because Sat means the one that is the absolute truth and reality, but Chit means all-knowing. From our own inner self, this starts to become real for us then. We start to understand fear from our own inner self. That's what a Gyani is according to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah Ji, those that have had self-recognition of their Atma, of their Jyot, of their soul. Aap pachane, bujhe soye, until you don't recognize yourself, it doesn't matter how much we read, we're still in duality. So when somebody reaches their Atma, and then they are living their life from that beautiful still place through the eyes of the soul, and then like Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji is that true Gyani. If Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji is saying this is what a Gyani is, this is what the Lachhan are, this is what the signs of a Gyani is, but then Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Sache Paatshah Ji themselves is that. Kahu Nanak sun re mana, Gyani tahe bakhan. They know this because they are that. Pੈ kahu ko det nahi. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji, they didn't ever put fear in somebody else. And what does it mean? What would be the signs? How would we know if somebody is now starting to feel that fear? If we look at it, and even though I might use the word, if we look at it scientifically, but we might use the word scientifically, but the truth is this is just the laws of our makeup. And that's all that actually is. That when somebody actually feels afraid and fear, when does that happen? It's a reaction of when you feel you are in danger. And being in danger, it might be the truth or it might not be the truth. And what does that mean? It means that we actually think we may be in danger, but actually just our mind playing tricks on us and we're not actually in danger. And where do we pick up that from? We might have picked that up from the way our parents reacted to something, the way our parents reacted to a spider or a snake or whatever it may be. Fear is then that emotion, there's that reaction that takes place within our body from thinking there is danger to save ourselves. It's a survival instinct that we needed a lot more many hundreds of years ago, not so much today. So what happens is a chemical released from a particular part of our brain. Once that chemical is released, then we actually produce adrenaline as well. And what happens from that is there'll be more blood pumping into our muscles. This is getting us ready to actually react and do something in a situation. And a lot of the times there'll be a few outcomes of what we do when our body is now so alert. But remember, we're in tunnel vision for that moment. We can't see wide. We're just trying to survive. We might run at that time, what they call flight. Or then there is fight as well. When we actually use that strength, that extra blood pumping into our muscles to then react to that situation, then we use that energy, we'd be able to run a lot faster than we normally would be able to. And that is all within God's laws. Hukm andar sab ko, bahar hukm na koi. Nobody's outside of these laws. These laws are within Waheguruji's creation, and we're made like that. If we didn't have that, it'd actually be quite dangerous for us not to have that. We actually need that. So it's not a negative thing, but when does it become negative? That's what we're going to look at. Somebody might run, somebody might react, or somebody might even freeze. What is it that makes us react and have so much fear? Because we're afraid of the outcome of something. And we're thinking, what if this happens? If they actually attack me, say if they stab me, cut me, say if I die from that. And that can be from even just being afraid of a wasp or a sting or something. And we react like that. But Pachi Singh asank amar kar jahe jor. But when you actually force people to carry out your order, to live in that particular way, but then you instill fear inside of them. Remember, fear was meant to be for a time of survival and those natural instincts to kick in. But when we start putting that inside of someone, what will start happening? Because that reaction is it takes up a lot of energy. But it's very closely then related to worry. Eventually, when it's not so on high alert and we constantly feel that fear from somebody, we can have that worry in the back of our mind. If they actually, if I don't do what they say, then what's going to be the outcome? And there's that constant worry. And when somebody walks in a room and your heart might start to beat a little bit faster. But if that remains in our mind and we continue like that, that's the very thing that eventually can then turn into something very negative, which is called anxiety as well. What is anxiety? Anxiety is then when we're not even sure what we're actually afraid of. And our body is constantly going into that fight or flight mode. And it's then takes a toll on our actual health and can be very bad for us. It talks about those that have got this type of loving and that pure fear, which is full of respect and comes, and then it will only give birth to love. The other fear will only give birth to hatred. But is saying that those that then have that type of fear will actually experience true love as well. The result from that, Bach is saying, is that Nirmal Pau Paya Har Gun Gaya. It's called Nirmal. It cleans us from inside. But that other negative fear, when somebody makes us feel scared, we won't be able to do the work correctly as well. And not only that, it'll be destroying our life, and it'll turn into hatred towards that person being as well. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pacha Ji, they try to instill fear inside of them, but they don't know that Neh Paimanat An, that they are fearless, that everybody looked at them as this saint, but little did they know this saint is fearless. When that negative fear that can turn into hatred, acting out of that place, Pacha saying, if that type of fear does not leave you for your husband, Lord, for your master. So if we had that type of relationship with the Guru Granth Sahib Ji, if I don't do this, if I don't do my part, I'm going to get strucken, and then I don't know what my Guru's going to do to me, I'm going to get bad luck. if we live like that, or I'm going to have to rot in hell, I'm going to have to go to that hellfire. If we live out of that, Pacha ji saying that ek nahi chakri, what type of service is that? That NIRBHAU is what, Sangat ji, is just realization and absolute love and respect. It's realization of the outcomes of Waheguru Ji's laws. So Sangat ji, pੈ ਕਾਹੂ ਕੋ ਦੇਤ ਨਹਿ pੈ ਮਾਨਤ ਆਨ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸੁਨਰੇ ਮਨਾ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਤਾਹਿ ਬਖਾਨ. A true wise one is that has recognized themselves. From recognize their true self, they will never then take on fear, because everything is that one for them. They have no duality. There is no other to take fear from. Everything is that one. There is no one to give fear to, because everyone is that one. Itni ek benti hai Parwan, please forgive me for my mistakes. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.